Release here. Gauri, not here. Varmas, here. Yes. Jairam, coming. Juliana, Thiago, yes. Another Thiago, also there. And then Kenny, yes. Mary, and Prabhavati and Ramaraju, not here. Lakshmi, Oscar, Palak, Rudra, Rajesh, Rakesh, Ritik, yes, Natarajan here, Samrat, Sanket, Srikant, Swamini, Satchidananda, Tarun, and then Mahesh, Vinita, yes, Daniela, not here, Deepthi, Gangadhara, not here, Miho, yes, Narendra, Pavan, Pooja, not here, Purna here, Richi, Satish, Shambhavi, Shrikar, Sudhamshu, Bhaskara. Question 2. My name is X. I'm not making it up. It really says that.
It's Twitter.
Huh? No. Listen to the whole thing. It's not that X. It's another X. Yeah. My name is X. Okay, and it is night. And what am I doing? Sleeping. X is sleeping. Someone shouts, X! And then I immediately wake up. This is because I know that I am indeed X. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Then is that a question? Is that a statement? Let us read on. Let us read on. Even when I am in the dream state or sleep state and someone shouts X, I wake up to the waking state. So is it true to say that X is my reality in the waking, sleep and dream states? No. Don't go there. Yes. Whoever you are, don't. Do not go there. All right, because just like somewhere in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it says that just like you wake up when your name is called, in the same way one wakes up with Atmajnanam, one wakes up as Brahman, and that identity is unshakably understood even as previously one's own name was. So what is your name? Brahman, yes. So that is the discovering that identity is new, because not that the identity is new, identity was there, will be there, was always there, but because of Atmajnanam, this is discovered. And this identity is discovered, and so next time somebody shouts X, you will say, that's not me, I can continue to sleep. You continue to sleep. And if they say Brahman, then you wake up. So that is the idea. The idea is Brahman must be as familiar as my own name. Whatever name was given, just like that, I don't have to be told this is my name. Even from deep sleep it can wake me up. Similarly, the knowledge that I am Brahman wakes me up from the deep sleep of ignorance, and having awoken from the deep sleep of ignorance, there is no going back. Nididhyasana is not understanding that I am Brahman, is getting familiar with that name. Before I was not familiar with this as my name, now I am familiar. Besides, finally, what wakes you up is not the name. What wakes you up is your own prarabdha. Yes. So those that are wonderful heavy sleepers, raise your hands. Nobody is raising the hand. Okay. It is about 1/3 of the class. That means you are selected to have fantastic prarabdha. That is very good. Once you sleep, you don't really easily wake up. It is a good karma. Good karma, because in the last life you did not disturb anyone that was sleeping. So in this life also you will not be disturbed as a result. Everyone around me calls me as X. It's a question 2. It's a follow-up, okay? And I also call myself as X. Is this repetition that makes the identity with X? Yes, precisely. How different is Shravanam from this process of repetition? It is different, because whatever your name is, let's say X, since that's what is kept here. So this namakaranam, you are X, happened to what? To whom did this namakaranam happen? To the one that did not have this name, correct? To the one that did not have this name. What is your name? Atma, Brahman, Ishvara, whatever it is. So Atma, Brahman, Brahmatma is your name, but you were named X. So now you got identified with the name because the parents called you X, friends and family members, everybody calls you what? X. That's how you became familiar with the name. But X is a superimposition upon this. You could have been named Y also. Yeah, don't ask me why, okay? You could have been named just as well, you could have been named Y, not just X. And it frequently happens. See, children that are named something. I know many families who have adopted children, especially girl children, from orphanages and all. So in the orphanage, the girl child came with some name, and that name was there. And some child, name was Radha. This is a true story of somebody, some person, Vedantic couple. They went and adopted baby Radha. She was about 8-9 months old when they adopted her from the orphanage somewhere in India. And then when they brought her home, she didn't feel like a Radha to them, so they named her something else. They named her Durga. So therefore, now you see, it's not that, so she could have been named something else. And suppose she goes somewhere else, then that another name comes. And in the olden days, in places like Maharashtra, Goa, etc., after the woman was married, her name used to be changed. The name used to be changed because it was seen as a new birth. Now it is not there. Women will not put up with that. They will tell the husband, you also change your name. Let me change your name. Let me give you also a new name. They will not put up with that. But in the olden days, this is how it was. Even 40-50 years ago, this was very much there. So that means what? So for the first 20-25 years of her life, this girl was called something. And then after that, her name is changed. After coming to in-laws' house, everybody in the in-laws' house and in the official bank papers and all call her by the new name. The home people will call her by what? The old name. So therefore, the name is very arbitrary. Shravanam is not like that. Shravanam is not a the object of Shravanam is not a superimposition of the fact that you are Atma, because that doesn't need to be superimposed. You are already Jagat Karanam Brahma, you are Brahmatma. It is revealing a fact. It is not a repetition or a memorization of something to become familiar with, like the name. The name is arbitrary, and this is an objective fact that needs to be discovered like one's own name. Okay, I hope that was clear. Then, what is Ashwamedha Yajna? I was hoping that this question won't come, but it has. I heard that horse is killed as obligation for that yajna. What's the purpose of the yajna? How should I understand that yajna while Veda and Vedanta teaches ahimsa as the important value? Very, good question, needs to be answered. We have to look at the underbelly of the first portion of the Veda. We have to do that. And then, yes, it is true that the horse was, Ashwamedha Yajna is not done by ordinary people, first of all. Not every roadside riffraff is going to do Ashwamedha Yajna. If somebody on the road says, I am going to do Ashwamedha Yajna, they will say, yes, stars are falling out of the sky. We can see that. The sun is rising from the west. Like that they will say, they will make fun. So who does Ashwamedha Yajna? First we have to see Rajanah, kings and big people. Why do they do Ashwamedha Yajna? What is the purpose? The purpose is to expand the kingdom. So the horse is done, they do puja to the horse, they put necklace and all on that and leave it free to roam. And the horse, whatever area it covers, in 1 year is without being contested, it should not be killed, it should not be trapped and taken away, abducted, it should not be locked up, and it should be allowed to roam free. And whichever, kingdoms, whichever kingdoms in the surrounding kingdoms, the northern border, southern border, eastern border, western border of this given kingdom, whose king has sent the horse, whichever ones pay tribute to them and want peaceable relations, will not kill the horse, will not capture the horse, will not take away the horse. They will allow it to roam free and send one letter or send something saying, yes, every year please let us retain our name and king and everything. Every year we will pay some kind of obeisance to you, we'll give you money, and you are, in name, you are our titular head, but will give us the freedom to run it like a state. Like a province of your kingdom, but let us just have the name of the kingdom, let the king be. And usually the king will say, all right, because the king also doesn't want the headache of running one more kingdom. Already this kingdom is enough. And then some other bordering kingdoms may say, we are friends, we will never attack you, and when you are attacked, we are coming to your aid. Let us be free, let us continue to be friends. That's also okay. So 2-3 different models are there, treaties are signed, and then the horse is allowed to roam free. After 1 year, they do the yajna. Of course, some people will also hide the horse, and then you have to go looking, you have to send the army to fight with them to find where the horse is, and then bring back the horse and set it free again. That horse must not even be touched. Even the mala, that is some precious stone mala, is put on its neck, that also must not be taken away. So then at the end of 1 year they do this yaga, and unfortunately the horse is sacrificed as an offering, because that is how it is done, because these yajnas don't have any reasoning, they are beyond logic. If we start looking for reasons, we will just be doing guesswork. It's at best a guesswork, because it is not explained. The Veda doesn't think we have to explain, it has to explain all its actions. So now, is it not himsa? Yes, it is himsa. But we have to understand that this is not, there is no contradiction here, because this is kamya karma. This is not nitya karma. And ahimsa is part of what? Nitya karma. Nitya karma, naimittika karma, all this, and nishiddha karma also says what? Kalanjam na bhakshayet, please do not eat animals, do not eat meat. It says that very clearly, please don't eat meat. And yet, in another area, it is said that, okay, there is a, not just this yajna, let me break it gently to everybody. Most yajnas of kamya karma would have one buffalo. There would be a stick in the center called yupa, and attached, not attached, so let's put it more elegantly, tied to that stick would be the sacrificial goat, buffalo, horse, whatever animal would be there. And it was sacrificed because that is what people ate in those days, and whatever they ate they offered to the gods. And so this earned a lot of disfavor, and we find that this was looked down upon, and in the Dharma Shastra it is not there at all, it is completely looked down upon. By the time the Dharma Shastras, which are called Smriti Granthas, which are the first portion of the Veda, simply put in the form of rules that people need to follow, that are easily understood without going all round various yajnas, etc. There it is very, very strict about all these things, and there we don't see this kind of a what is that called, recommendation of animal sacrifice. So the animal sacrifice went into disfavor, and also nothing was lost from the Veda because it is optional karma. Kamya karma is always optional. Only when kama is there, then only kamya karma comes into the picture. And kamya karma is not easy, because if you want all these complex things, you have to, the more complex the desires, the more complex the yajna is. And so that is the idea. So Veda and Vedanta, they do teach ahimsa. Yes, it is an important value, but yes, there was this thing called animal sacrifice. But then in the sutra literature, sutra is also Dharma Shastras, 4 sutras are there, Apastamba Sutra, Gautama Sutra, etc. And so there also it is not encouraged. Then, yes?
The reason is the animals will get a higher gati.
That's not a reason, that's a excuse, yeah. That's not a reason. Yeah. If an animal is sacrificed, it will get moksha. That's the thing. Yeah, that way a person can tell another person, I am going to give you moksha just now. Yeah, that can be the same reason for homicide also. Yeah. What happened? No, he got moksha, yeah. I gave him moksha. So, no, that is just an excuse. That's just so that one can continue to eat the animal and then do that. So it went out of, it was there at some point, and at some point it went out of favor. We have to understand that the people who did these kinds of expensive yajnas were rajas, and rajas being kshatriyas, their main sport was what? Hunting. They did. Why did they go hunting? Don't ask, because they didn't have cable TV. Okay, yeah. Otherwise, they would have been eating popcorn and watching in the palace. Yeah, no, they went hunting. That was the sport. It's a pugnacious sport. It's like you see the animal suffer, and there is a kind of a conquest, and then you skin the blessed animal and put it on your wall. Yeah, actually an aide has killed it, but you say you have killed it. So I'll just say, what's that? It's that all this ego satisfaction, and then this restlessness, not being able to, don't know who to attack, so go to the forest and hunt all these animals. Not fair also, because if you want to really hunt for food, you should go bare-handed, correct? 50% chance that you will become lunch. All right? Yeah, maybe more than 50%. Maybe 65% chance you will become its lunch. And 35% chance you will overpower it and kill it and drag it home. Then it is a fair game. This is not fair. You have what? Swords, lances, and all kinds of things to attack the poor defenseless being. And then you say, I gave it moksha. No, not permissible, but this is what it is. The kamya karmas take a lot of money because so many priests are involved and lot of dakshina has to be given for every kamya karma. The Veda makes you pay through the nose. Yeah, no free lunch, no free yajna. Everything has to be paid. And also you can't give equal dakshina to all the priests. You have to see their seniority, you have to see how many Vedas they know, you have to see how well they chant, you have to see how much respect they command and give it like that. Equal dakshina is an insult actually. And also you cannot say, see, in the daily puja we make do because we don't have flowers. Why don't we have flowers? Too lazy to go and get. You said traffic jam in Rishikesh, not going to flower market, so no flowers. So what there is a hack. What is the hack? Pushpartham, what? Akshatan, samarpayami. And then you are supposed to offer new vastrams every day. You don't have new vastrams. And so what will you say? Vastrartham, akshatan, samarpayami. Then you have to offer sacred thread to God, goddess. And then you say, upavitartham, akshatan, samarpayami. And you have called the priest to do puja, dakshinartham, akshatan, samarpayami. Don't do that. Yeah. They will curse and go, and then you will get papa. Saptamantasya lokan hinasti. All the 7 lokas will be gone, destroyed. And so therefore, this is all rich karmas. This is not like giving little dakshina here, 1 rupee coin, nobody will come. And this is all gold coin people. These are all people who are going to be showered with gold coins. This 1 rupee coin, 10 rupee coin is also nothing nowadays. So this 10 rupee coin and all, if you give, even the beggar will not take. He will say, please take it back. So like this, there is these are all rich karmas. And the rich karmas involving lot of money are only affordable by kings and big ministers and all that, whose sport was to hunt and eat. And they thought that if we hunt and bring an animal alive and then tie it to the sacrificial post, then God will be happy. This was their idea. Because even in the rural areas where they offer meat to Bhagavan, what they eat, they offer. Yeah, like Shabari. Rama went, what was she eating? Those bears, and then what? So she offered that. Whatever she ate, she offered. So that is the idea. Then, what is the mind? About Atma. Please explain in the context of Swamiji in the class about Atma or Atman. Same thing. Atma, Atman. Atman is called the stem, word stem called in Sanskrit as Pratipadika. And then it is Nakaranta Pullinga Shabda. That is how we know. When we look at the word stem, we know what its behavior will be. And what is it? What is Atman ending in? Na. All the na ending masculine nouns will decline in a similar way. Atma is the first case, nominative, singular or plural? Singular. Yeah. Atma. Atma. Atmanau. Atmanaha. This is how it is. So they are one and the same. while writing, it is a what is that? It is the custom, because we have to have a universal form of writing books which have Sanskrit words. So then when we write Atma, we should not write Atma. We should write Atman. All the words go back to their Pratipadika. So we won't say Sannyasi. What will we say? Sannyasin. We won't say Vedanti. We will say Vedantin. Like this, it goes back to the stem. And so that's all it means. Atma is the same. Atman is also the same. Atma is the way we talk about it. But when you write in a book that has English and Sanskrit, the custom is to write it as Atman. That's all. So, what is the mind? What is the mind? Now, mind is Atma, because everything is Atma. There is nothing other than Atma. But when we look at the mind, what is it? It is Jada. It has some characteristics, whereas Atma is Chetana. Mind is Jada, Atma is Chetana. Jada means what? Inert. Chetana means earth. Okay, opposite of inert, sentient. So, Chetana, sentient. And then the mind is a product, as though product of Atma, and Atma is what? Not a product. Mind is finite. The only thing we can say about the mind is what? Never mind. Yes, that's the only thing we can say. And Atma is not a product. Mind is finite, Atma is limitless, infinite, and then what else? So many dissimilarities. Mind is Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha, meaning now okay, now full of doubt, now again okay, now again full of doubt. Atma is Sankalpa Vikalpa Varjitaha, free of thought, free of decisions, free of any kind of intentionality. Intentionality is not there. It is all knowledge without agenda. You see, all these dissimilarities are there. Mind is therefore dependent upon Atma. Final dissimilarity. Mind is what? Mithya. Mithya means dependent upon Atma. Atma is what? Satyam, independent of the mind. And then so therefore the Atma the mind is dependent upon Atma. Mind is revealed by Atma, and then Atma is not revealed by the mind. How is Atma revealed? Self. No, not self-knowledge. Atma is self-illumined. Yeah, knowledge only removes ajnanam centered on the I, but there is no pramana for the I needed. It is swatas siddha, whereas mind is pramana siddha. What kind of pramana? Sakshi pratyaksha is the pramana for knowing the mind. And so Atma is what? Swatas siddha, self-illumined. And so this being the case, the mind still has an important function in terms of revealing things locally, in terms of objectifying objects in the Jagat. How does it do that? By managing the senses, by overlordship of the senses. How does it do that? Blessed by Atma. The thought is blessed. Thoughts in the mind gain life because they share the light of Atma. Mind is blessed by the light of Atma, so they as though shine as sentient in the borrowed light of Atman. In the Atma's borrowed light, the mind, the vrittis in the mind, and then the sense organs which the mind overlords, all of them gain their being, gain their sentiency, borrow their sentiency, borrow their knowledge from Atma and do their jobs in various areas. seeing, hearing, etc., the mind is able to illumine because the Atma has blessed it, so to speak, with the light of consciousness. So the light of consciousness alone is, and then everything else is dependent on this I, Atma. Hopefully that was clear. Then what else? If we feel that we are genuinely wronged by Swamis, Ayo, what is that? Yeah. Oh, someone. Okay. So how do we process that hurt without getting trapped in a need for accountability, recognition, or validation from them? We may understand and even forgive that they acted from ignorance, fear, or personal limitations, but that undertaking does not the consequences of their actions, does not excuse, does not erase the consequences of their action or the pain they caused. How can one acknowledge the hurt fully and then still move forward? Fantastic question. Yes. So genuinely wronged. Every wrong is genuine because it is genuinely felt. Yeah. So there is no not genuinely wrong, because the pain is genuine or not. Yes, the pain is felt, and so that means there is a feeling of being wronged, which has happened. And then how to process that pain without getting trapped? Yeah, the accountability will not do anything, because what is the reason for somebody's delusion? You cannot account for other people's delusion. You can ask them, but they are not going to tell. Or even if they tell, you cannot make them tell. Even if they tell, it may not be enough for you. Because this hurt, this genuine hurt that is there right now, that we are discussing, is actually a trigger from a hurt from a long time ago. The first thing to recognize is this. Forget their accountability, let me take stock of my hurt. So if somebody hurts, see, nobody has the power to hurt. So why this person hurt? This person did something and you got hurt. Some stranger does the same thing on the road, you don't get hurt. Why? Because there is a connection. When there is a connection, there is a hook. And as long as those hooks are there, then they get embroiled in the present time connection. And what do? They rehearse the past. They rehash the past, and then therefore they bring about this problem of feeling hurt in the here and now. Even though the hurt is happening here and now, its roots are from way back, unprocessed pains of early childhood. In fact, you don't need accountability from the person in front of you. The real accountability you need is from the primary caregivers. Why did you do this to me? Why did you not understand me? Why was the other sibling always better taken care of? Why was I abused? Why was I neglected? Why were there no answers? Why was I infantilized and treated like a child? Why did I not? The why is belonging there. So therefore, no matter how much why is given, answer is given now, it will not satisfy. Because the hook of that why is way back when. And also, it is not an option to go to the parents and say. First of all, they may not be around. Okay, if they are around, you are lucky enough to have them around, this happened when? 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Yeah. And they will not remember, first of all. Then you will feel even more bad. Oh, you hurt me so badly and you don't even remember? How terrible. Then there will be a new hurt based on that, okay? And also, if we are talking of Indian parents, they are made of tough, really tough. Yes. So they will say, because this has been tried, and so everything has been tried, whatever we are talking about here. So one young person said, young adult said, I'm going to take it up with my parents. I said, I don't think it's such a good idea. No, I'm going to keep you in the loop and tell you what happened. I said, okay, fine. I kept quiet. So this person went, said, Mom, Dad, I want to talk to you. And the parents said, about what? What is there to talk about? And no, we need to have a chat. We need to have a talk. So they were slightly amused, so they sat down for this talk. And then so this person said, you have done this, you have done that, and there is no accountability, and this and that, and what not. And oh, is that so? They said. They looked at each other, and then one of them said, is that so? Yes, this is how it is, and you have not done this for me, you have not done that for me, and then you did this to me, you did that, all the omissions and commissions. Person had written down, read it all, and then because they were afraid they'll get nervous and forget, and then so the father said, can I have that paper? Yes. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, we did that also. Oh, and they looked at each other, and they said, and then the last thing the person said, I feel very suppressed and voiceless. Oh, you have enough of a voice to complain about all this? So you can deal with this. Yeah, that is what they said. And so you can't really ask anybody, whether it's in present time or in the past, you can't ask that accountability. You should just know for yourself that is where the pain is. That is where somewhere in the back the answers are not there, and that's why I'm feeling like this. So heal that. Again, inner child work. Let that hurt baby sit in your lap. All you have to do is hug it. It is not open to logic, because babies don't understand logic. They just need a hug, they just need to be loved up. But you don't have to collude with its pain or identify and become one and get enmeshed with the pain. You have to be separate, and you have to be asanga. You have to be an asanga and a loving parent. You have to reparent the inner child that we have talked about. Harihi Om to you also. And then, what is the origin of the sacredness of the cow in India? Is it part of the Veda? Yes, it is part of the Veda. And what is the meaning of the image of the cow and the bull in the temple? How is the sacredness dialogue with the present day, considering the exploitation of milk in the dairy industry? Yeah. So cow, even the ancient Indian civilization in called Indus Valley civilization, this Mohenjo-daro, etc., Harappa, they had cows on the seals, on the terracotta seals. They had cow, they had bull. So cow, bull, slightly different imagery. Cow is sacred because it gives up every part of the body. Bones, you can make something out of it, and then skin is made into shoes, leather, and meat is eaten, milk is drunk, and even the waste products of the cow were used for cleaning the house, etc. And so therefore the cow is seen as sacred, very, very sacred, because it is an image of harmlessness, ahimsa, and sacrifice. So ahimsa and sacrifice. So we want to be like that cow. So therefore the cow is sacred. The bull is a representation of tamas. That is why it is sitting in front of Lord Shiva, who has conquered tamas. So bull is ourselves. We have tamas, but then we sit in front of Lord Shiva, who takes away the tamas. That is why it is sacred. Now nothing is sacred. This is Kali Yuga. Cows are killed, and cows are exploited. The dairy industry is indeed very bad. So milk is no longer a sattvic thing anymore. And also we don't need milk. As we grow older, we don't need milk. Our systems cannot even digest it very well. So I thought I answered this. If a Vedantin with complete surrender to Ishvara can still be excited to see chocolate cake, smiley face, sure, because the excitement is what? As though, yeah, excitement is as though. Chocolate cake is also what? As though. Vedantin is also? So that's all it is. Then, since it's a multi-part question, to be fair to everybody, we'll read from another multi-part question. How to keep the mind focused and concentrated in the class during the class? Yeah. Very good question, I appreciate it. Yes, and so bring some water, not for drinking, sprinkle. Yes. Sprinkle when the mind goes off somewhere, just track the mind and don't be hard on yourself. Just say, it's okay. After all, it's only A for Atma, B for Brahman, C for Chit, D for Dharma, and A for Eshana, E for Eshana. That is what is talked about. I haven't missed anything. You tell yourself that. Yeah. When you tell yourself that, you are being very kind to yourself. Give yourself a hug. Don't beat yourself up for going into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, especially when you are listening to chapter 6, okay? Because it is pertinent. So don't beat yourself up for either Vikshepa, daydreaming and non-focus, or Laya. What is Laya? Sleep. Best sleep comes in Vedanta class. Yeah? It is true. No other place. Even in your own bed you will not sleep like that, because it is blessed by none other than Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna himself has blessed everybody to sleep wherever there is Harikatha taught, Bhagavatam taught, or Vedanta taught. Because Gudaka Devi, the goddess of sleep, was very disturbed. She said, I don't have a kingdom anymore. Everywhere there are these people. Even in the middle of the night they are doom scrolling on the telephone, they are updating their Facebook. What are they doing? Where will I rest? Where is my Adhipatya? Where is my reign? Lord Krishna felt very bad for her and said, I don't know, these Kali Yuga people are going to be even worse, we hear, so don't worry, you be wherever my stories are told, and since I am a teacher of Vedanta, you go wherever Vedanta is taught, and then cast a spell on the people. So you see, it's not your fault. Yeah. Whose fault is it? Gudaka Devi's fault. Okay. Then after the chocolate cake, if karma phala is given up and there is still pravritti, is one then not considered a sannyasin? Yes. One is a karma yogi. If karma phala is given up, one is a karma yogi. If there is pravritti, it could be for loka sangraha, whatever. So generally not considered a sannyasin. Sannyasin also has pravritti, but in a very limited area. Adhyayanam, adhyapanam, small areas like that, puja, etc. Can we have lectures like this morning, general Brahma Vidya occasionally, help to sort out my understanding? Sure, we can do that. Then, how is the practice of Atma Vichara as taught by Ramana Maharshi understood and explained within this tradition? Is there any practice similar to the one in this tradition? This is a longer answer. I am looking for some short ones. So right now, let us see. What is Shobhana and Ashobhana Adhyasa? Yeah, this is easy. So Shobhana Adhyasa is a value given to something that it does not have. Ashobhana Adhyasa is criticizing something which it may not have, the object of criticism. So it's some kind of a personal, subjective value given to something from which it is free. Like money is the source of all evil. It is not. Money is not the source of all evil. The way you spend money or the way you get that money may be the problem, but money is neither evil nor is it good. It is simply something for transaction and living and paying the bills. That is the reality about money. So one person says money is source of all evil. I am disenchanted and disgusted with money. Why? Because I was robbed. And so that is Ashobhana Adhyasa. On which? On the money. And then another person says, oh, money is the best, east or west, without money nothing can happen. That is also not true. That is also a problem. So one tries to be in the middle. This is, so avoid the Shobhana Adhyasa, seeing more than what it is, and Ashobhana Adhyasa, seeing opposite of what it is. Both are problematic. Then Jnani has prarabdha before becoming a Jnani, okay? And post knowledge doesn't have any karma anymore. Where does this karma go? Karma is mithya. It wasn't there to begin with. It is a model. The karma goes to the same place where the snake goes upon the rope being cognized. Where did the snake go? Withdrawn back into one's own head from where it was projected. So too karma is a model given by the Veda, just like a model in physics. It's a model. And if you look at this as a model, then it's very easy. Because road of dharma is there, you have to learn how to walk. So karma is a model. And then when this model has been lived through, it has fulfilled its purpose. Atmajnanam it has led you to, and Atmajnanam has taken place, then one realizes not that karma has gone, that there was no karma to begin with. It's just like one has a dream. 3 fellows are chasing me, and one is running, cannot outrun them. Thankfully somebody wakes you up. Get up, you are having a bad dream. Do you wake up and start running again after waking up? No. Why? Because whatever was in the dream is not applicable now. What was the name of the 3 fellows? Prarabdha, Agami, Sanchita. Doesn't, once you awaken, it's a dream. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami. From the 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita itself explains many things. 6 key points or more, not sure what all to implement mandatorily in one's life. One by one you take. Don't take all of them, that will become overwhelming. One by one you focus on a few values that you are hearing from the Bahiranga sadhana, few from the Antaranga sadhana. You focus and then you tackle that, and then the rest will come. Atithi yajna, since we are invoking devatas, are they also considered atithi? Yes, in a way, yes. We are invoking devatas, they are also treated just like an honored guest in the house. Then practice of ahimsa, verbal, physical and mental. Can you elaborate? You have already elaborated. Verbal, physical, mental. Yes. Kaya, vachasa, manasa. You don't, kayena, vachasa, manasa. So kayena means physically you don't harm, And then with practice mentally also you don't hurt people, and then verbally of course. Mentally first you don't have a say over that, afterwards you have a say over the mind also, and you don't think ill of people because you have stopped doing that. So acceptance of all dualities of life. 3 monkeys, not say here see bad things, etc. How should, so now should one scurry away from the place where there is ill, or accept it and then scurry away, okay, along with considering the significance of Neelakantha teaching us not to poison the heart and keep the poison in the throat. Only Bhagavan can do that, yeah. Bhagavan can do that. That's why we worship during Pradosha, so that all the poisons are not internalized, all the toxins are not internalized. So Ramana Maharshi, Pujya Swamiji thought very well of him, and some of the works, Saddarshanam, Upadeshasaram, Atmavidyavilasa, all these are just solid Vedanta texts. They take us to it's just like studying Mandukya Upanishad. They take us to the highest realms of the vision of Vedanta. Now, in that tradition there are many differences, because Bhagavan Ramana did not have any successors, did not really say this is my ashram. Other people said this is your ashram. Did not have any rules, regulations, niyamas, and did not. And the last thing he wanted to do was start a tradition. He was sampradaya-vit, not a sampradaya-krit. But many people see him as a sampradaya-krit. Pujya Swamiji was very excited with his teachings and taught us some of his texts, Upadeshasaram, Saddarshanam, etc. And then he stopped because a group of people came and told from the Ramana organization and told, no, this is not how we interpret it. You are teaching differently. Swamiji said, I am just teaching what it says here. That is all I am teaching. No. And Swamiji did not want to cause a controversy, so he did not do this. He still used to teach, but maybe he would take one verse here or there somewhere like that. Then the whole crux is asking, who am I? So if you know who am I, you don't have to ask who am I, correct? Yeah? So if you don't know who am I and you ask who am I, what answer will come? Idiot. That's what will come, because that's what I have been thinking of myself all my life. I have been thinking I am finite, I am an idiot, I am a duffer. This is what will come. And so this is what Pujya Swamiji would say, the who am I enquiry is okay, but it cannot be conducted by oneself. It is more of a vichara to lead you to the Shastra and the Guru. It is not something to be attempted completely on one's own. That is what he would say. So, but the whatever Ramana taught is absolutely sound and absolutely wonderful. Okay. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi